Hello learners, and welcome back to our lesson today. We are going to do a question on the cash book. And the question reads, record the following transactions in a two-column cash book. So we are given the year is 2011 and the month was in the month of September. On 1st of September, cash in hand was 11,000, cash at bank was 18,800. Then on 4th, sold goods worth 5,000 in cash. 6th, received a check from Marcia Data, Kenya shillings 5,800. On September date 7, deposited Kenya shillings 8,000 into the bank from the cash till. 10th, Ocheng, a creditor, was paid Kenya shillings 12,000 by check. 12th, goods were sold for Kenya shillings 24,000 and 16,000 Kenyan shillings was received by check, while the balance was to be received later. On date 15, furniture was bought for 9,600 Kenyan shillings by check, and on date 18th, 12,000 Kenyan shillings was withdrawn from bank for business use. So therefore, we are required to come up with a two-column cash book. First and foremost, we need to know how does a two-column cash book look like. So a two-column cash book has two sides, the debit and the credit side, whereby the debit and the credit side can be separated by two double lines, whereby on each side of either the debit or the credit side, we have some details. We have columns for the date, the details, the page, that is the folio, the ledger folio. Then we have the column for the amount that is split into either a cash and a bank, and the same happens to the credit side. Now, the other thing you need to note about a two-column cash book is that on the debit side, you record receipts. In other words, money received into the business. And on the credit side, you record any payments made by the business. And it is good to note that in a cash book, we only deal with cash transactions. So to start with, we need to have a heading, that is the heading of our account. And our account here is two-column cash book. Is a two-column cash book. Two-column cash book. Yeah, for the month of September 2011. For the month of September 2011. For the month ending date 18 September 2011. So this will be our debit side. So we show it by an abbreviation DR, and this will be our credit side. So you can abbreviate as CR. So therefore, on the debit side, we have the date column, the details or particulars column. Then we have the ledger folio, the cash, and the bank columns. The same case happens to this side, whereby we have the date column, the details, the ledger folio, Then we have cash and bank. Remember, on the debit side we started with cash, so we have to maintain that order. And we can start off with our question. On 1st September, cash in hand was 11,000 and cash at bank was 18,000. Therefore, those are our balances. Those are our balances brought down. Therefore, we start with the date. So the date is September, date 1, September 2011. The details are the balances brought down. For the cash is 11,000 and for the bank is 18,800. 18,800. We go to the next transaction, that is on 4th. On 4th, sold goods worth 5,000 Kenya shillings by cash. Sold goods. So if we make sales, that means from these sales we are going to receive 5,000 Kenyan shillings. So we record the receipts, that is on the debit side, date 4, September 2011. So this money we are receiving it with respect to sale of goods. Therefore, our details, we are going to say sales, which amounted to 5,000 cash. Next is date 6. Date 6, received a check from Mercy, a debtor, 5,800 Kenyan shillings. Received a check from Mercy, a debtor. Receipts again, we debit date 6 of September 2011, whereby this money was received from Mercy with our debtor. So in this case, we record the name of the debtor, and the money was received in form of a check. Therefore, we're going to record that on the bank column, that is 5,800. 5,800. Next, we move on. On date 7, deposited Kenya shillings 8,000 into the bank from the cash till. Deposited 8,000 Kenyan shillings into the bank from the cash till. So in this case, if you look at this transaction closely, we are going to have a contra entry, whereby one transaction is going to affect both the debit and the credit side. So in this case, the bank account is receiving, so we debit that one, and then cash is reducing, the cash till, the cash at hand is reducing, so we are going to credit that. So on date 7 of September 2011, so where this money that we deposited, where did it come from? The cash. And we are saying that this is a contra entry. Yeah, this money is being deposited into the bank account. This money is being deposited into the bank account, and it is 8,000. 8,000. Then on the other side, remember, it was deposited from the cash till. So the cash in hand is reducing, and that's why now on date 7, we are going to credit that transaction. 2011, where did this money go to? It was deposited into the bank. How much was it? 8,000. You record on the cash column. Why? Because it is the cash in hand, cash at hand that reduced. And that's why here we debited the bank column. The money was received in the bank. The money was deposited into the bank account. So bank account is the receiving account. The cash account is the paying account. Next is date 10. Ocheng, a creditor, was paid 12,000 Kenyan shillings by check. Ocheng, a creditor, was paid. So a payment is being made here by check of 12,000. So we record again on date 10 of September 2011. September 2011, what is happening? Yeah, Ocheng is being paid how much? 12,000. 12,000. Next is date 12. Goods were sold for 24,000 Kenyan shillings. And 16,000 Kenyan shillings was received by check, while the balance was to be received later. So in this case, we are only going to record the money that was received. The remaining amount does not qualify to be recorded in a cash book, and therefore we are only going to record the 16,000 only. So therefore we record that goods were sold and the money received was 16,000 and it was by check. So date 12 of September 2011, goods were sold, so these are sales that were made, and the amount that was received, remember we said cash book only deals with cash transactions. So part of this transaction is cash transaction. The other money was to be paid later. So we are not going to record the credit bit. We only record what was received in form of a cash. So check of 16,000. Check of 16,000 was received. Next is date 15. Furniture was bought for 9,600 Kenyan shillings by check. Furniture was bought, meaning what? That we made a payment of 9,600. We made a payment. Remember we said all the payments we record on the credit side. So on date 15 of September 2011, furniture was paid for 9,600 Kenyan shillings. 9,600 Kenyan shillings. And lastly, date 18, 12,000 Kenyan shillings was withdrawn from the bank for business use. Was withdrawn from the bank for business use. Another contra entry. Why? Because they are saying that money is reducing from the bank account and increasing, and the cash till business use. This means that this money was taken to the business cash till, and therefore we are going to record that same transaction twice, and that's why he's saying we have another contra entry. So on date 18th, we are going to debit what increased. It was the cash in hand. So on the 18th of September 2011, where did this money come from? From the bank. Yes, how much was it? It was 12,000. It was 12,000. Yeah. And on the same, we are saying that the amount of money in the bank again reduced by this same amount. So on the same date, 18th of September 2011, the amount of money in the bank reduced by 12,000. Where did this money go to? We took it to the cash till. It was withdrawn for business use. And we are done. Yeah, I know our question did not say anywhere we balance, but we can just go ahead and try to balance. You can try to balance. Yeah, and that is my assignment for today. The next question we'll be doing, we will do it up to the balancing. So the next question we are attempting, it will be balancing the 2-column cash book. For today, we stop there. Bye bye. See you in our next lesson.